see.
Thinking about thinking of you. Summertime, think it was June. Yeah, I think it was June.
Okay.
Laying back here on the grass.
What are you doing?
Chewing gum, having some laughs. Yeah, having some laughs.
Get in there. Get in there.
I'll get there. I'll message you.
I messaged you a week, you never replied.
Yeah, I'm terrible to reply.
Falling out.
Never.
Drinking back, drinking for two. Drinking with you. When drinking was new. Sleeping in the back of my car. We never went far. Didn't need to go far. You made me feel like the one. Made me feel like the one.
Will you just message me?
You made me feel like the one. Made me feel like the one.
It looks like we're live mid-introduction, guys.
Hey!
I think we are. So I'm going to unmute everyone and say
Everyone's
welcome.
unmuted. Yeah.
Welcome to the Lancashire User Forum,
Yeah.
the live lounge LUF show.
The virtual coming live and direct into your front rooms right now with love.
That threw us a little bit then.
Yeah,
didn't
we
it?
always do when it goes live. We go,
Yeah,
live, live.
But it's unpredictable, isn't it? It's like we thought we'd have another minute for the introduction as we show the countdown, but then it went live. Didn't it?
Gets a bit technical. Yes.
So
Welcome.
Welcome. This is the beautiful Emma Daggers.
This is the handsome Mr. Yarwood, Peter.
And we're live and direct into your living room tonight. For 1 week only,
Yeah.
we are taking over the national Facebook page of Change, Grow, Live.
Did you see the intro? Did you see the intro with the nice CGL and then we come stomping in with the bricks?
And just smashed it out of the way and so
Yes.
we're taking over this show.
Yeah, so everyone belongs in our living room tonight. We're opening our house and our hearts to you. Any questions for these beautiful people in front of us, get them in the comments box and we've got our Glenn that'll get them answered.
And you know, we are grateful to the support of Change, Grow, Live. Let's just kick that out there right now. When we say we're taking over, it's in a good-hearted, humorous way. We're working in partnership with them, and I would say my experience has been that right from the get-go, they've supported us, they've empowered us, they've enabled us to be what we are today, which is why we've chose Chime as the theme. And we've got a wonderful lineup of guests.
Yes, like, you get really animated.
Well, yeah, I've got an agenda. I have got an agenda. Like, my agenda tonight is to drop into people's living rooms and say,
baby.
if you're motivated and inspired by how we've mobilised and organised our recovery community in Lancashire, and you're interested to do the same, then drop into Red Rose Recovery's website, touch base with us, and we'll show you how to do it for yourself in your own localities, because we're integrated into the middle of the system. We're not existing on the margins, babe. We're right in the centre of things.
Absolutely.
And we want to do it better. We want to do it with other organisations on a national footprint. So we've got a whole host of guests, people who are going to drop in and drop out.
Because they can.
Because they can.
And that's how we wanted it, really. We wanted it to be where you can drop in and out, and it's not, it is relaxed and it is chilled. because we're going to be hearing people's stories as well. So I think we should just crack straight on. Don't forget, guys, like, share, any comments or questions to the guys, get them in the boxes because they are going to be dropping in and out.
Yeah.
So let's make a start.
Okay, let's introduce some of our guests then. Daniel Littlechild,
Hi, Pete.
how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, thank you. You?
Tell us who you are and where you're zooming in from.
So I'm Daniel Littlechild. I'm a member of the Lancashire User Forum. I'm the lead volunteer for the East of Red Rose Recovery, and I'm currently zooming in from Bedfordshire.
So you're a part of the East Lancashire. Let's just get that right. Yeah, the Lancashire User Forum is in Lancashire.
Lancashire, yeah.
You actually live in Bedford.
Yeah.
Well, how's that for technology? You actually live in Bedford, but you volunteer for the guys in East Lancashire. And you're going to share with us how you can support people to do what we're doing in Lancashire on a wider footprint.
Yeah, that'll be coming up later, yeah.
I think it'd be good to share some of the experiences you had when you came through treatment, when you came through supported housing on your way to independent living, about some of the gaps you fell through. Because I know our next guest is probably also going to talk about some of those gaps that our people fall through. That's Mick Fleming. Hiya, Mick.
Back by popular demand, dude.
Yeah, it's the shades, I think, isn't it? It says it's like.
It just makes you look so cool.
Yeah. I can't see without them. That's the truth. So, yeah. So I'm Pastor Mick Fleming from Church on the Street Recovery. It's kind of like it's Church on the Street Ministries, but we work within recovery networks, and we work at street level homelessness and poverty in general is like somewhere where we want to step in. So we step into them areas. So yeah, cheers.
And we give the whole shot.
Mick shared with us last week the first time he came to a Lancashire User Forum. Someone said to me, Pete, that big guy over there with the levers and the jewellery and the bald head is a big drug dealer. What's he doing here? And I come over with I remember it, Mick. I remember it well. I come over with the microphone. And what did you say to me?
Well, I kind of just said, like, so a big fall from grace for me, from a millionaire to a fellow with no hair and no money, no fags. And I just told Pete that he said, why have you come? And I said, I've come because I've got no fags. I'm trying to tap a few quid and I want something to eat. And so that was the first time I met you, Pete, really. Yeah.
And I remember all three of those things happened to you that day, and it gave me a real flavour of what happens when you get in a room with like-minded people.
Absolutely. And just on that, for anyone watching, the Lancashire User Forum is focused on Lancashire, and we have a space that, in there people come who have drug problems, who are in recovery, who are professionals, who are family members. We have a drug using community, a recovery community, a family. It isn't one size fits all. So we tried to keep that space in the virtual world, which is why we're coming live and direct to you tonight. So it's not one size fits all, so everyone is welcome. Everybody, many are called.
Many cultural dimensions. And Mick, 12 years on, you're an ordained minister.
The sinister minister. Yeah, definitely.
And he is backed by popular demand, because I've had some of my pals on the phone saying, I love that guy, I loved him. So we had to just get you back on, not only because you look cool, but you do some amazing work out there, and you touch lives, Mick. You touch lives.
We'll look forward to hearing some updates from you shortly. And then moving on, we've got a guy called Dave Watson who tuned in last week and said, I want to be a part of this, and he's on this week.
Hey guys, how are we? My name's Dave Watson.
Where are you from, Dave? Where are you and where are you from, love?
I'm originally from Preston in Bamber Bridge.
Yes.
But I now live in Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham.
We love Birmingham.
I love Birmingham. If anyone's watching from Birmingham, I love you. I love everybody, but I do love Birmingham.
Yeah. Birmingham. Shout out to the Birmingham Massive.
Yes. Park House crew.
Yeah,
I
but-
love them.
I love my time in Preston. I got brought up in Preston. I lived in Bamber Bridge most of my life. Moved to Birmingham 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're going to share with us some of your experiences. That's right, innit?
Yeah, I'm going to share my story. What's happened to me, like joining the military and so on from there. It's a really touching story, so I hope everyone likes it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Do not miss Dave Watson's story, guys.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, Dave, you popped one in the comments, didn't you, last week? And I just
I
put
did,
a
yeah.
shout out there to get you in this week. And this is how it works, isn't it? This is just how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. So
Beautiful.
Elizabeth Lund tagged me into it last week. So I was watching the military guy we were talking last week.
Gareth, shout out to Gareth, yes.
Gareth.
And I've got a similar story, but mine's a bit more like injury type things and where I am now.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing more about that. Thanks for coming, Dave. And then we've got
Thank you for the invite.
It's a pleasure. Our very own Glenn Island,
Glenn in the house.
the wing commander.
Hi guys, you all right? Yeah, so I'm Glen Island, and I'm team leader for Red Rose Recovery, and you'll see me on these streams quite regularly because I'm the one that looking at the streams, looking at comments, and trying to get questions in from the community. So if I am looking at a phone, it's not because I'm being ignorant; it's because I'm trying to get as many comments as I can. So yeah. And I would advise people to share so that it reaches more people and gives more opportunity. Like Dave was on the stream last week, and now he's on the LUF Lounge this week. So potentially you could be sat here next Saturday night.
Absolutely, mate. And you do a great job, Glenn, because as we've moved over to this digital platform, we haven't had all the tech people. We've pulled together as a team, haven't we? So you've noticed you've not got Scott in your ear this week.
No, I haven't.
Should you have?
Well, he's changing the brake discs on his car.
So it's all over to you, Glenn. So listen, guys out there,
No
get
pressure.
in the comments. No pressure. But we'll try and get answered as much stuff as we can. So next on the agenda.
And a shout out to Red Rose Recovery because they help the Lancashire User Forum with their infrastructure, with the support. They enable us to be a big part of what we are today. So thanks. And then we're moving on to Professor David Best. Shout out, David Best. Tell us a little bit who you are, why you've come,
Welcome, David.
Okay, my name's David Best. I'm actually two professors, so I'm professor at the University of Derby, and I'm honorary professor at the Australian National University in Canberra in Australia. I always kind of feel obliged to say at this stage, I'm not in recovery myself, but I do have lived experience. My father was an alcoholic, and I was brought up, and who never found recovery. And it was one of the things that kind of always inspired and motivated me about working in this area. So, you know, I trained as a psychologist at the Maudsley Hospital in southeast London. Sadly, that's gone back 25 years, which is a bit of a scary thought. And for the last, and I'll come on to it in my own slot, but for the last 10 or 15 years, I've just moved focus completely. I struggled with the lack of success of a lot of specialist treatment and the lack of any community involvement with a lot of specialist treatment. And when I first, and funnily enough, it was in your patch that I first really saw recovery happen in a group way. It was a 12-step graduation at Lancaster Farm Prison. I was asked to preside at it. That must be going back to 2005, 2006. So, and I've just been motivated and inspired by the recovery movement since then.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. And, you know, while we mention our patch, we've got another organisation on this patch who are a massive source of support and inspiration.
Yeah.
So
a lot are, but we was on the we had a laugh, didn't we, on Monday on the show. We did a Mr. and Mrs. We then had a fight.
So shout out to you, Mr. Hyam and
love
Mrs.
you,
Hyam.
Kerry.
We love the bones of you.
Yeah.
That's the well community.
And we love you, David. But moving on
to Joe Page Cook. Hiya, Joe.
Hi, you right?
Oh, hey, Joe.
Yeah,
Hey, Joe.
I'm an ex-addict. So I'm from Stroud. I've been in recovery a few years. I've been to rehab a couple of times, and I'm off everything now. And I'm just getting well and getting back into my music and philosophy and stuff like that, and getting on with my life really. I'm here to play a song as well and share a little bit of my story.
And you know,
good to have you in, Joe.
I don't know if anyone warned you, but once you get connected in with us, we won't let you go. You know, we'll be on you like little Jack Russell.
Ask Adam Chadwick.
You know, it's like, you know, that's the beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
We look forward to hearing a little bit more about you as well, Joe, coming through. Then we've got Oscar Phillips there, haven't we? With some funkety like style going on. Hi, Oscar.
I really feel.
Hi, Emma. Hello, everyone. What's happening?
Sound like a newsreader.
No, I just thought I'd put my finery on, you know, to come and do the virtual love. It's just what I normally wear on a Saturday.
I'm going to join you, Oscar.
Yeah, Emma and me regularly have meetings on a Saturday. We whack some hats on, you know, it's chilling. But no, my name's Oscar. I'm a volunteer for the Lancashire User Forum, an engagement worker for Red Rose Recovery, originally from St Anne's, massive. Currently residing in Preston. I'm loving it. What's happening?
I'm joining you, so you're not alone.
I didn't feel alone. Don't worry about it.
But can you feel the head connection?
I like it though.
Yeah, I do. I love you, Oscar.
There's a strong bond, Emma.
It's great to have you, Oscar. And then we've got Elizabeth Lund. Liz, are you going to give us an update on who won the competition last week?
Oh, I can't believe it.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so we had the competition for the sweet box, and Alison Kershaw, one of our staff members, won it last week. Of all people, which is absolutely fine. But after some discussions, we've switched it up a little bit, and we've decided if a staff member was to win again, then we're going to actually do 2 boxes. So then the next person to guess after that, hopefully won't be another staff member, but will be one of you guys that's watching, and I can send you the sweet box. So we've got another one this week. I've switched it up. There's not the same number of sweets by any means. And it's a completely different size box. So don't think you know the answer because you knew last week.
Show us then.
He's shouting. I've just said he's shouting in my ear again. He's shouting. He's got
Okay, so we've got a smaller box this week.
Oh.
Come on.
200.
Oh, it's quite deep.
Okay.
So it's a little bit deceiving, but it is actually really quite a deep box.
Let's just hold that to the screen just hold it up to the screen, right, guys? If you
so everybody can screenshot it.
and start counting.
Emma, you have to stop talking if she's going to hold it up to the screen.
Okay. Okay, so just so that the sweets end up being on the screen, I will talk. So if you can guess how many sweets we have in this box, then you will win. The closest person to the correct figure will win the box. And I'll post it out to you or doorstep delivery if you buy. Yeah, so good luck, everybody. And I'm Liz. I'm from Preston. Got involved as I was a family member, and yeah, so kind of not gone anywhere ever since.
And this is a business for you, right? You shared last week that you're being supported by the HMRC to develop a social enterprise, or is it a business? What is it, Liz?
Well, to be fair, it was. I'll be dead brief. It was started off just to be for a little bit of sustainability for some cakes that we were gifting to our frontline workers as a thank you during this time. However, these cakes are not cheap to make by any means, and it's not sustainable. So we needed to do something, started making sweet boxes, realised that there was actually a really high demand for them. So it's now officially a business. And I've been supported into doing that through Shelley from the HMRC and the Cabinet Office through the leadership programme that Red Rose Recovery actually have going on with a few different organisations. And it's been really, really beneficial to be able to be on that leadership programme. It's really given me the skill set that I need. Because although sales, I'm all right at sales, the businessy side of things, I wasn't, well, to be fair, I didn't have a clue. And I was just winging it. But the HMRC support has been immense. And I really feel like it's given me a firm foundation and real good set of skills by doing that leadership programme, which was absolutely free, and it's open to anybody, which is great. So yeah, get involved.
Nice one, Liz.
Thank you. And we've got Gordy Moore. Gordy.
Hiya.
Hiya, Gordy.
I'm Gordy from GPX Audio. I've actually been funded by Red Rose Recovery to run some music production workshops in and around Lancashire.
Right, well, we need to tap in. I need to tap into you, Gordy.
I think we do need to have a conversation, don't we?
Seriously. Absolutely. And
Okay.
just on that, are we through?
Finally, we're through the introductions.
Only a week later.
Yeah. I think, you know, we'll come back to you, Liz, later on in the, because there's some things I want to pick up around that.
Yeah.
So, straight off the bat, did you have something?
I just wanted to say that, firstly, please stop shouting. And
Am I
secondly,
shouting?
is my hat
I'm gonna
getting in your
relax
way?
I don't know. I don't mind it. I think you look quite sexy with it. I can work with the hat.
Emma, the hats come first.
Okay, I just wanted to say about anything corporate, anything, you know, we leave it at the door. We come here as people, first and foremost, don't we?
Yeah.
Whether that be service user, someone in recovery, or a professional.
People make the difference, don't they?
Yeah.
It's people what
People
make
that make the
organisations what they are. And we want to bring people back into the park. And we never want to lose sight of where we come from. Do we? Was you threatening to disclose something this week about me?
No, but I am looking at your eyebrow.
Right.
Because he has one missing.
Right. Can we just clear something up now then? Because I don't know if there's other men going through the same problems as me, but we can't get to a barber. So I thought it might be a good idea to just trim my eyebrows with a razor. And before I knew it, it was off.
So I can't stop looking at his
It was gone.
eyebrow.
And it was like, oh, how am I going to, what am I going to do? So what did I do? I come up with a boss solution though, didn't I?
No, he started wearing makeup. You put some mascara on.
See? No.
So I just can't stop. I keep focusing on the eyebrow now, but it'll grow back. My dad always used to say the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is a couple of days.
Totally cool with it. Totally
let's
cool
brow on. Sorry.
Could be worse, Pete. They could be ginger and bushy.
Hey, man.
Hey, dude, listen, it's just a pair of tweezers or a comb and some scissors. Just take it easy.
It hurts.
We don't dog down on the gingers, do we? We're
Big up the ginger
big up
massive.
the ginger massive.
I've got some solid sisters who are ginger.
Okay, straight on with the agenda.
Yes.
So our theme this week is chime, isn't
David's
it?
gonna.
And David Best is going to come in and he's going to talk to us and tell us a little bit about where chime come from and how he uses that in how that's used in addiction and recovery. Is that right, David?
Yes, you wouldn't think after 8 weeks I would still be messing about with problems with Zoom, but there you are. Yeah, I'm now unmuted. So, yeah, basically, like all academics, I'm in danger of talking too much, so just stop me if I do go on for too long. So, yeah, I thought I could kind of set the scene a bit for you about where this idea comes from. And it's quite unusual because on the whole, what we know about mental health recovery, what we know about addiction recovery seem to live in different places. And it doesn't make sense because for a lot of people, they suffer from both issues. And so there is a kind of twin recovery. Anyway, so there was a big review done about nearly 10 years ago now about what works in supporting people in recovery. So it's not a definition of recovery. It was done by a woman from the Institute of Psychiatry in London. And and called Leamy. So it's Leamy et al. Is the reference. And if anyone's interested, I'll send them the paper. Just drop me an email. And what they did was they took a whole load of studies on mental health recovery from all over the world, and they tried to synthesize down what makes projects successful in helping people recover. So it's almost like mechanisms. So it's really important to say this isn't what recovery is. These are things that every service should aspire to, or every group should aspire to. And so that you've said already, it's called CHIME, and CHIME's an acronym that's made up of 5 core concepts. So the C stands for connectedness. The H stands for hope. And I'll go through them all again in a minute. I for identity, M for meaning, and E for empowerment. And basically, you know, what does any good service have to have? And like all academics, I have no original thoughts of my own. I just stole this idea utterly shamelessly and have used it widely in my own work. And quite often I'll claim it as my own. So basically what the idea is, and the bit that I love about it, is it's always struck me, and you know, I'm a big fan of a guy called William White in America, who is like the father figure of recovery, the recovery movement. And incidentally, he started blogging again yesterday, so everybody should look up William White's blog. So, and his idea is recovery is contagious. Professionals can help, but fundamentally, recovery transmits from one person in recovery to another person in recovery. Professionals can support and help, but we aren't the contagion. It's peers that are the contagion. And the idea of it basically is positive human connection, where you see, which in its bluntest terms is kind of, I meet somebody who's already further down this road. You just mentioned it earlier, 2 minutes ago, Pete. I make a genuine positive human link with them, something transcendental happens, and that connection generates hope. And it strikes me that the other nice thing about CHIME is it's nearly in the right order. Yeah. So the connection, human connection, generates hope. So it's like, I see somebody who's got it, I want what they have, I make a human connection with them, and a door opens. And in my own work, over the course of the last 15 years or so, I've collected about 2,500 recovery stories. Scotland, England, Wales, Australia, New Zealand, America. And the only common element across all of them is nobody does it alone. Yeah. There's always people or groups who inspire. And what they inspire, in my opinion, is hope. Yeah. And what the hope does, the next acronym I'm going to add in is Goya, after the Spanish painter Francisco Goya. What does the Goya stand for? Get off your arse.
Yeah, baby.
And that's the meaning part. That what the hope does is inspires people to believe they can do stuff to make their own recovery happen. So the meaning is short for meaningful activities, doing things. And in our own big recovery study in Glasgow and Birmingham, the two things that predicted positive well-being and quality of life in recovery were the more stuff you did, the better you did. Childcare, volunteering, working, education, training, any of those kind of pro-social activities, plus the more time you spent with other people in recovery. And that effectively is the connection leads to hope, leads to meaningful activity. But crucially, once you're involved in meaningful activity, you then get into this lovely circle where doing stuff allows you to feel empowered. And as psychologists, we call that self-efficacy. I then start getting a sense, I'm a person who achieves things. I am somebody who can do stuff, and it boosts my self-esteem, it boosts my sense of well-being, and it inspires me to try and achieve other things. And that allows you to, and the identity part, allows you then to start saying, I am a good person who does things. I start to see myself. And as you start to see yourself in a different light, other people start to see you in a different light. And, you know, I've made this all sound as if this is a nice, simple bump, 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 bump game. But of course it's not. It's complex, and there'll be all kinds of drops and falls. But as soon as I saw the chime stuff, it just, and I go and visit recovery groups and I get asked to evaluate lots of them. And it's always the first thing in my head. And I would just say for all of you, if you work in any recovery group or community, you should constantly be thinking, do we do chime? Because it strikes me that I can pretty much within 3 or 4 hours, with that thought in my head of looking at a recovery place, say, well, let's start if it's empty, or if the peer recovery champions are utterly miserable and are grumpy and don't talk to people, there's no buzz or positive feel about it. Like, this isn't going to... I spent, 15 years working in traditional treatment services where it failed the mother test. You know the mother test where you go in and say, would I let my mother come here for treatment? Absolutely not. And, you know, and I worked in some of those services. The Maudsley is probably the biggest, at that time, was the biggest NHS treatment provider in England. We covered South Thames, so we had a catchment of 4.5 million people, and we had 22 services. And some of those services, the moment you walked in, you kind of thought, nobody's getting better.
You can feel it. I was talking to Mark about this the other month. You can always tell a service by the energy that's in it.
Yeah, and don't you think it's a two-way thing? And it's not the staff fault, because so often they don't have any, they're struggling for resources, caseloads are too big, staff get burnt out. I did this thing in Australia about 10 years ago now, where we did a survey of like 280 workers in Victoria and the southeast of Australia. And the higher their stress and burnout levels, the poorer their therapeutic relationships with clients. And crucially, the less optimistic they were about the client's outcomes. You know, so basically, if you get this, like, it works both ways. If you've got workers who are burnt out, stressed and miserable, they can transmit that to the client, and the client transmits it back. You know, whereas in a recovery service, you get the opposite. The person comes in, there's a genuine human connection that inspires a sense of hope, that generates that belief that I will take a gamble. I'll start to do stuff. And when it's got nice academic labels and names, but you all know what I'm talking about because you see it all the time. And when you see it happening, it's just like a human miracle.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a good point for me to stop.
Yeah, I'm just want to say there. So every time I talk about the hope shot and us being hope dealers, that's what I mean. Think China.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just perfectly academically wrapped it around what we actually do. What was the name of the girl that came in for you? What was her name?
Rebecca Apperson.
Rebecca. Oh, I loved Rebecca. I was doing a degree at the time, and I was like on a case, you know, teach me. What are you doing? Research.
Well, she's doing her PhD now.
Oh, is she? Please give her my love.
I will do. I definitely will do.
Please give her my love.
Yeah, definitely.
So Emma's describing you and a colleague doing an evaluation of Red Rose recovery, and at the time, what we recognised was that lots of us was coming into contact with people who, you know, we was out trying to inspire hope, but if you're not careful, sometimes it can just suck all the life. You came in on Friday evening after spending a day giving out naloxone. What was you like, Emma?
Well, yeah, I am an empath, me. But sometimes I think when you've been away from the streets for a while, so I go out on a Friday just one day a week now instead of all the time out there. It's just a massive realisation and an abundance of gratitude for where I'm at today, and I'm not out there, you know, deprived. They had nothing. I mean, you know, there's some guys in little flats that people call supported housing. It's like the flats, and there's 4 guys in. Like, what? And it hurts my eyes, the world, sometimes, and I have to do what I need to do to keep me well, or I'm no good to anybody.
Yeah. And one of the things I think that, you know, this time around, we need to do so much better is how do recovery leaders and recovery leadership support each other? Because it just struck me that I know a lot of people that I really like and respect have been around the field for 10 or 15 years, and some of them are really struggling because unlike clinical services where there's all those apparatus of supervision and all that kind of stuff, however good it is, we've never managed to work out that kind of peer support process for people who are kind of who are those visible recovery champions that are just key to the success of the whole system.
Absolutely, and this is exact same thread I was talking to Neve about last week, and about advocating for a leadership committee. I think we've tried before with CBD. We tried a few years ago, but nothing ever came of it.
Well, there's two things there, isn't there? There's establishing a support network of leaders and like a network, but then knowing that we've got relationships with people who have got access to the resources that sometimes we don't have as small organisations.
And the thing that I would say about in 2010, when the big opportunity came with the English government policy, there was no radius of trust. So what you had was all these people who put themselves forward as recovery leaders who were kind of either pushing their own agenda or even worse, trying to financially profiteer out of it. And I think the one thing that we need to say is it has to have that grassroots foundation, and it has to be based on people who trust each other, not people who represent vested interests.
Oh, David, I could talk to you for hours. I really
You'll have no viewers because I'll just bore everybody to death with boring results. So, look, it has been a genuine pleasure. Oh,
you're probably going to get questions. Glenn, is there any questions for David?
They're quite quiet at the minute, but I've got a few shout outs, and there is a couple of questions about the chime model because it's rung true with quite a lot of people. So we've got Chris Judge, shout out to Chris Judge, saying that how do they find out about this chime model a bit more in depth? We've got Lorna that's saying it'd be great for you to come and do a talk at Red Rose Recovery on the chime model.
Happy to, if I'm ever allowed out the house again.
Well, okay. We've got Lorna saying that she bets that Emma shaved Peter's eyebrow off in his sleep.
Everyone's going to be looking at my eyebrow and focusing at my eye. I just
You'll have to stay in now for another 5
Or the hat, Pete.
Yeah.
So, David, if you want to answer the viewers, how can people look at a bit more in depth around the chime model?
When I finish this call, I'll email to Pete the paper it comes from. Brilliant. And feel free to circulate that about. Basically, what they did was they took this bundle of big studies and they tried to distill all these studies internationally about that showed what worked with mental health recovery. So I realise I'm shouting, so I should quieten down as well. They took all these studies and they basically drilled them down to identify themes. That's what a systematic review is. Yeah. And then they were clever enough to work out, actually, we could identify these single word themes. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. But I like the fact, it's one of those things that I like the fact that they've drilled it down to something so simple. Because I think every time you go to any service, you should be thinking about, it's easy to remember that. And what's more important than easy to remember, it's dead easy to see when it happens.
It is, and there are some connectors in the community, like we've got connectors out there who are making changes. We should call them change agents, which leads me nicely on to William. Did you say William White was out tweeting the other day?
No, he's got a new blog out. He sent me an email yesterday.
Oh, did he?
He's not been keeping great for a while, but he seems to have got a bit of energy back, and he started his blog back up again. So I would recommend everybody go on to William White Papers because it's just like a treasure trove.
It is. It absolutely is, the White Papers. And, you know, all the ABCD is what we live and breathe for. So even in our attempts to train people up and train up service users and train up people, you know, that don't have the privilege of education around stuff like this, is keeping it as simple as possible so they get the concept and understand the value, because the value of the individual, helping the individual,
Yeah, and you know, even if you go for university academics, we all should operate on something that's called the principle of parsimony. If there's two explanations, the simplest one's the best one, and it's the elegant simplicity of ideas that makes them good.
Oh, say that again.
The principle of parsimony.
Time.
So just on that, so if David's going to email Peter with information on how to look into the chime model, and if you can forward that on to me, I'll put my email in the stream. So if anybody wants to email me, and I can get that information out to you.
Well, in the link, in the information link, there's our website. We'll make sure we get that document as a resource on our website. And if you're interested in learning from us,
sorry,
we will, we'll touch base with us on the website, and we'll support you to access either resources, or we'll give you the benefit of the 10 years experience Emma and I have had creating a space, and opportunities, connections. Yeah. Thanks, David.
No, it's been my pleasure. It's been lovely to talk to you. And, more than happy if you want me to follow up with any questions or ideas. So you have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, David. Thanks.
Take care. See you later.
See you later.
See you later, David.
So we're going to now follow on.
We're going to just listen to this again. Are you ready? Okay. I love that sound. Do you?
It's a beautiful sound, yeah.
Chime. Or not. Ding.
Anyone who's been on any training with Emma will know that's how she starts it off. Centering people. And I think it's a lovely sentiment, a chime, isn't it? Just remember that noise every time you walk into a service and ask yourself, are they using a chime?
And just talking of music, Joe.
Hello.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that gun in your hands? What are you going to play for us, Joe?
I'm going to play Lay Down Sally by Eric Clapton. Do you want me to go straight into it, or do you want a story first?
Tell us a little bit about where you're at and who you are, and then go into your song.
Yeah, well, I've been an addict for about 20 years, got into crack a few years ago and come off it now, and been to rehab a couple of times and been through mental hospitals and stuff like that. And I've got a bit better now, or a lot better, so I'm just focusing on music, art and philosophy now, and getting on my life and trying to build it back up, really. That's
Philosophy?
Yeah, just different sorts of philosophy, looking into, different spheres of it, sort of thing. It's interesting.
Oh, you're interesting, Joe. I could talk to you forever, but you are here to play.
All right. So, shall I start then?
Go for it, Joe. Enjoy it, dude.
There is nothing that is wrong in wanting you to stay here with me. I know you've got somewhere to go, but won't you make yourself at home and stay with me? And don't you ever leave. Lay down, Sally, I'm resting in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to? Lay down, Sally, no need to leave so soon. I've been trying all night long just to talk to you. The sun ain't nearly on the rise, and we've still got the moon and stars above. Underneath the velvet skies, love is all that matters. Won't you stay with me? And don't you ever leave. Lay down, Sally. So the picks one now. Lay down, Sally. I'm resting in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to? Lay down, Sally. you go and say goodbye. You can lay your worries down and stay with me. And don't you ever leave. Lay down, Sally. I'm resting in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to? Lay down, Sally. No need to leave so soon. I've been trying all night long just to talk to you. There we go.
Yes, Joe!
Well
Yes,
done, mate.
Joe! I could so hear
Well done.
in you. Then I was going, lay down, Sally. I think you're amazing, and I think you are going to be fabulous at all your musical stuff that you're going to go into now. Joe?
I'm gonna give it a good go. I've been in the industry for a while, doing festivals and stuff. I'm gonna try and propel myself a bit further now. Starting a course with Point Blank on Monday and stuff, so that should be good.
And maybe remember a festival even.
Yeah, maybe remember one in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Joe does a lot of things does a lot behind the scenes at festivals like Glastonbury. So hats off to you, Joe.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And apologies, because midway through there, Emma come up with the idea of drawing my eyebrow back on, and then somebody else came up with the idea. You've got to even it out, Pete, for charity. You've got to shave the other eyebrow, and we'll see. You know, if we hit, what did we say,
20,000, you'd shave your head. So
'cause
share, like.
Well, average.
And he'll do his eyebrows as well.
Will I? I might.
You
We'll
might
see.
get 20,000 now. We're on
see.
Now we're on Joe page tonight.
Well,
Can I come in and just say that the link to Red Rose Recovery website is in the stream? I put it in there. So that way you'll be able to get the information from David, and also you'll be able to look on the website. So if you want to become a member or you want to get involved with the Lancashire User Forum or Red Rose Recovery. So
how are we doing for numbers on the Sweetie Box, Glenn?
well, there's loads of. It's hard to manage. You can't do it while looking at the stream. You'll have to go back to the stream and then get the numbers. So we tried that last week, and it was a nightmare.
What he means is that's Liz's job.
No, I don't mean that. I took part in that last week, and there were about 3,000 because people were sharing it. It's going up to different websites and different places, so it's hard to manage.
So
that.
just to be clear, then, this week you have to comment on CGL's Facebook stream.
Yeah.
The only stream we're going to be monitoring for the prize giveaway is CGL's Facebook stream. So if you're going to identify how many sweets were in that box and put a number there to win it, that's the only stream you can do it while this show's live on air. You can't do it when it's recorded. But what we're going to do next week is give you an opportunity to do that on the website. So
hit like and share as well, guys. We need to get out in as many people's front rooms as possible this next amazing man.
Why do we want to get in people's front rooms?
Because we want to give them the hope shot.
Hope shot. And say, you know, you can do what we've done with the same support we had, and it's out there, and we'll help you connect into that.
You don't have to be alone. We are here. There is a lot of people out there.
Yeah. Why would you try something on your own when the evidence tells us you can't do it on your own? You've got to do it with other people.
I can't, but we can.
Yeah, and we're here to do it with you. Do you know the other thing as well, Em? We was talking last week about how we do talk a lot. It's good to talk. We was talking about there's a more and more momentum gathering to get behind political issues that affect people like us, so that policies that get designed are influenced by us,
by our people.
And
I don't know about you lot, but you all look miserable to me. Smile. I think that is super exciting that our service users sit around policy making tables.
Yeah.
You're damn right it is. Absolutely. So let's get the dude in. Let's get the cool dude in the house. Mick, There is just so much love for the sinister minister.
How you doing? You all right?
Better for seeing you.
Oh, beautiful,
How's
beautiful.
it going out there, dude?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's really, really good. So it kind of seen a lot of things happening. So I've got a lot of things happening with kids who are struggling to get food. So we're breaking through quite a lot there. Also with the education for the kids, we're breaking through a lot there. We've got packs that we've put together that meet the national curriculum, and we're delivering into the less fortunate families. They've been really successful. They've kind of doing a lot of good. In other ways, it's kind of things are happening that I didn't expect. So we've got like so some of the guys. So we call it repentance. So if you compare it to step work, it's kind of turning away from your past and looking forward and making amends and things like that. So I've been praying with people, some of the lads who are in addiction and trying to, get involved in that. And what I didn't expect is they've all been giving me the knocked off gear to get shut off. So I've ended up with like iPhones and iPads and laptops. And then I've got to dispose of them correctly. So what I'm saying is we're seeing genuine commitments to change. So I'd call that, turning to God, but we can call it genuinely, I've had enough, and just take it away. I want a new life. I want a new beginning. I've never had as much knocked off gear in my life. Do you know what I mean? So I'm dealing with that. The kind of people kind of come to, I think obviously because I'm a minister, so people kind of open up. So I get a lot of people disclosing things for the first time in their lives, kind of like about abuse and sexual abuse and the links between loss and bereavement and addiction. So like, was it David, the professor? So he was kind of talking, and I could have saved him a lot of time. He could have just read the New Testament, because it's the same thing. It builds a community. So we give the 12 steps from the gospel. So it's because that's where it comes from, whether people like that or not, that's where it comes from. You research it, that's what it is. But it builds community. It pulls us together. We go and tell other people. People are empowered. They want to go out and do things. And kind of that's what we're seeing, that's what we're seeing at the moment.
How does stigma and society's attitudes affect the work that you do and the people that you come into contact with? I'll tell you why I'm asking that question. I was talking to a chap yesterday he represents and speaks to a lot of senior leaders in the system, and he was saying some of his friends, his personal friends, used to have an opinion of people from our community and people who were on benefits and people who were, in poverty. They used to, have this idea they were just scroungers, they were freeloaders. Only recently they're changing the perception because they've had, their own business and they've been furloughed or they're having to live off benefits themselves. And now they're realising just how difficult it is for some of these families. They're changing their opinions. How does that benefits themselves? And now they're realising just how difficult. Are you there, Mick?
I'm here. Yeah.
I just muted Melanie.
Melanie's just dropped in the house.
We've had Melanie and Paul dropping.
Beautiful.
Okay,
go on, Mick.
I mean, answering that is kind of so. I'm delivering food parcels to the more affluent areas with Mercedes and Jags on the drive. You can't eat a Rolex watch.
Yeah,
when you haven't had the money drop, and when you've been living on credit, you still can't feed your children. It's a bit of a leveler. The kind of the there's inequality, there's gaps where, so what we do is where there's an injustice, we try to put it together. So it's not about people that don't have any money. Poverty's got nothing to do with money. Money's irrelevant to poverty. It's something internal, something inside. It's a mindset. It's a spiritual thing. There's a spiritual poverty. So when we take food out, I'm not really interested in the food. I'm interested in what that looks like when I give it. So what goes into that? I'll give you an example. So if I'm taking a food parcel out, there's people that have no money, and I know them really, really well. They're very, very poor, and they've put 2 tins of soup in a bag, and they fetched it to me. And they've done it because they care and they want to make a difference. And I'll put them 2 tins of soup in a bag, and I'll put some pasta in and put some bread in that's been given in that way. And I'll take that out and I'll give it, and I'll talk to the people when I'm giving it. That's the leveler. There's a spiritual poverty in this country, in this world, in the times that we live in. And that is what needs feeding, because when you feed that, nobody will go hungry again, because we'll all give from our own poverty. And it's a leveler, you know, and people that come against that, come against it because of their own greed, their own selfishness, their own self-centeredness, and that's what's destructive. So as a ministry, what we do straight off is, I tell them straight, you know, we tell them straight. So I have about 5%, maybe between 2 and 5% that blag. So they're trying to blag, they're trying to get something for naught, they're just trying to, they've got enough, but they want more. So I just respond to it and I just tell them the truth. So the truth would be, listen, I go to houses, children are crying because they're hungry. They really genuinely are starving. Now, I can give you some food, but think about it. If you don't need it, don't take it. Yeah. So I like to tell people there are no, so they know I know. So what I've done there is I've spoken to their own defectiveness, their own sin, whatever you want to call it, and give them a chance to repent and turn away from it. And that is what ends poverty.
In your experience, does that work?
It works massive. It can. It's life changing. That's why I get people giving me the stolen property. That's, you know, kind of. That's what happens. You can kind of do the 12 steps sometimes in 5 minutes. In essence, not in depth, but in essence of what you're doing. You know, it's kind of. I spent some time once, you know, with a guy who was going to die. This taught me everything. I took him home from hospital to die. He was an alcoholic, and I looked after him for 3 days. And what I was doing was I was pouring cider into a little cup and rubbing it on his lips, and I was looking after him. And they told me he would die in agony and in pain. And he said to me, "Mate, you believe in that God thing, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, you're mental." And I just carried on looking after him. We were a friend, looked after him, did the best I could. And he told me about his wife, his kids, his ex-partners, how they'd all wronged him. And then on the 3rd day, you know, he said to me, "Mate, it weren't them, were it?" Yeah. I said, "No." He said, "It were me." I said, "Yes, will you pray for me?" I said, "Yeah." And I just said to him, "Are you sorry for everything that you've done? And do you believe there's something bigger and better?" And he said, "Yeah." And he died in my arms. He had no poverty. He died in peace because he knew his own defectiveness. Yeah. And it's never too late, you know, right up until the last moment. It's never too late to get that peace. And my belief is that peace and that love's eternal. So that never dies. So for me, my friend lives, and he lives in you now because I've just told you. I've just told you about it. And that's the love that we put into the food parcels and into the feeding of the homeless. And that's what the gospel of Jesus Christ is. That's the freedom. You don't have to be religious. You just have to live it. Yeah. That's it. I'm not religious at all.
Let me ask you another question then, Mick. What turned you from a drug addict, a drug dealer, an addict, to a criminal? Are they all true pictures? Yeah. What turned you from all those into an ordained minister?
Well, I had an experience, so I mean, I'll word it carefully so I so I don't put myself in prison, I suppose. But let's just say I'd gone to collect some money off somebody, and I had I kind of put I had a gun in a plastic bag wrapped up, and I don't know what would have happened. Well, I do, but I'm not going to say. And the guy came out of a gym, and I jumped out the car, and he had 2 children with him, 2 little girls, and he was holding the hands like that. And that, I didn't care. I just didn't care. I was a very cold, calculated person. I didn't care less. I was smoking that much crack. I wasn't bothered anyway. But there was light shining off his hands, and I couldn't see. It was blinding me, and I started to feel sick.
Wow.
I started to feel different. And I went and jumped in my car, and I drove off. I never felt like it before. And I said a tiny little prayer, and nothing happened. Nothing changed. I just said, God, if you really, you better do something. And nothing happened. Nothing changed. And I put the gun under my chin and pulled the trigger, and it never went off. It didn't go off. And it was an automatic weapon. They do not jam. Anybody knows anything about it, it wouldn't jam. I went away. I fired it, put it down. I'd had this experience of God, and I never used a drug. And I never drank a drop from that day on. But life got really tough. I had to face lots of things, as we all know. So that I had an experience that I believed was God. And it kind of moved me from that point on. And that's not long after that, when I met you, Peter, that meeting, I was in that state of, I still want to rule the world. I'll still cut your throat, but yet I don't know where I am anymore. Yeah. And I was like that. You know, at that time when I met you all those years ago.
And I think there's a time in there as well where that's the level of that's if you're going to do it or you're not. You know, when you can actually own your own stuff and look at everything has been a result of I'm the problem. But to get to that point, we need other people to teach us, don't we? Yeah. And you know, you are an amazing teacher. So, Mick, and there's a lot of love for you.
Because there's something about rough and ready guys who start to rechannel their energies, their passions, and
make the difference.
And
women.
And women.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and women. Do you know, wouldn't it be great if we could mobilise a few more of those?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's really important to never forget what you are, never forget where you was and where you're going. But it's kind of, so up until I came into recovery, so I've had wonderful experiences since. But to the point of the recovery, the happiest time of my life was in a psychiatric unit. Yeah. So that was the happiest time. And it was because I went in there with nothing, and the people there didn't judge me. They give me like cigarettes, and I had no shoes. They give me the trainers and the trackies and stuff because I was ill. They give it me free. They didn't even ask. And I found love in there. And that's where I ended my, that was my rehab, you know, surrounded by people who was just like me.
Yeah.
That's
but they cared. They cared. So I went from, I'd just love to share this because this was my last drug use really, but it was coffee. So what happened was I'm in the psychiatric unit and I just couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't get any drugs. They wouldn't let me out. I couldn't even have a fag, you know, they wouldn't let me out. I was climbing the walls and punching doors and everything. It was horrendous. And I thought, right, what I'm going to do is they had coffee in sachets. I thought, I'm going to snort it. I thought, I'll get up on that. So I nicked a few sachets of coffee. I had them in my room. And I pushed it all up and I'm doing big, long, big fat lines. I thought, right, just bending down, starts whacking these lines of coffee. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm feeling it. And the nurse come in and she said,
it's decaf.
It was decaf. Honestly, I'm doing decaf. Now you tell me another addict, right? That's got me. Did you do decaf? I love it. No. Do you know what I mean? So that's that was my recovery. Do you know what I mean? That was my methadone. Do you know what I mean? So from
I love you,
somebody
man.
said get some Brazilian, but that was that. So that's what happened. You know, some Colombian. That were it. So, yeah. So what I'm saying is,
There's some questions for you. Just
Yeah.
Glenn, do you want to come in with some questions from the guys?
Yeah, so hi mate, Glenn here. So there's a couple of questions for yourself. So John Roberts from Wales, I know he tunes in every single
Oh,
week.
John, big shout out to John.
He's saying, do you have a Facebook page, or how does it connect with you
Yeah.
for people that need support?
yeah. So it's I have Mick Fleming, but we have Church on the Street Ministries is a Facebook page, and we try to channel everything through that, but they can also come onto my Facebook page. So either Church on the Street Ministries on Facebook, or which is it's COTS, so short for Church on the Street. You COTS, you'll see it on the symbol, or they can come to my page directly. It's just Mick Fleming. So thank you.
Also, I think you've touched a lot of hearts out there, but I want to give a shout out to Lindsay Jackson from Littledale. She said about David's best about connection being key, but mostly with you, Mick. She sat at home in tears, saying that she can resonate with you. So, big shout out to Lindsay. Also, Ian McClure came onto a Zoom link to go into a meeting, but he's decided to stay on because he finds that everything that's been said is touching him. So basically, he wants to stay on and not go on to his meeting. And this one for you, Pete. There's big talk of Red Rose Recovery, but a lot of people out there don't know what Red Rose Recovery is. So can you give a bit of a synopsis around what that is for people?
Yeah. So right now, have we got time for it? Because I've got form for talking a fair of
You have, but we can actually manage that. But let's just box Mick off there, because I know there's a lot of love for you, Mick. I've got a lot of love for you. You are, the human stories about your message is love. But there is a lot of people out there wanting to get in touch with you. So can you just again tell us what your Facebook page is?
Yeah, so it's Church on the Street Ministries. And when you go onto the page, it'll say COTS, COTS. And also you can go onto my Facebook page, which is just Mick Fleming.
I know there's a few people going to be asking you to go and do some shares, young man.
I like the young. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
you love that. And cool. Young
Nice
and
one,
cool.
Mick. Thank
So that's
you.
COTS.
Yes.
Do you want to explain a little bit about what Red Rose Recovery is?
Okay. Well, Red Rose
Quickly.
Recovery is a charity. So tap it into your search engines, Red Rose Recovery. Go onto our website. You can sign up as a member. Once you sign up as a member, we'll make sure you get regular mail shots. In essence, it's a charity that supports people to access that chime model. So connections, hope it gives you. It helps you first to have some purpose and meaning, some experience to change your identity, and then it's empowering people to get employed, to get into training, to get into volunteering.
But that would be nothing without the LUF.
It's like Red Rose Recovery came after Lancashire User Forum with a remit to support people like us, to support us to organise and mobilise, to help each other. That's why it's dead important we get succession planning, we identify leaders, we support them and help grow them. But I think last week, what we was talking about was there's lots of people who think addicts are the problem, and what we're saying is no, they're not. They're the product. The problem is you don't involve these people into your systems. You design systems about them without them. So we're saying we've got all these people who are putting themselves forward to use their experience. Why is there no appetite for that? Well, it's the times now for a national movement of people who want to stand shoulder to shoulder to make sure the voice of the people who haven't got a voice is heard.
Amen, brother.
And that's why we're stepping up.
Yeah. And we've always been called unpredictable and, a bit knee-jerky. But now is the time to knee-jerk.
What's the proper word that describes it though? It's not unpredictable, is it?
Attractive.
No, I was thinking another word, chaotic. That's what we get described as, a bit chaotic. But someone has to occupy a space that people feel like they can belong and they don't get judged.
And
it
that's
doesn't
what we
matter.
do, isn't it? So that's what we do. We need to just keep
what Red
hold of
Rose
that
does.
space.
That's what LUF does.
It's what
Just-
LUF does. LUF
Just want to come in on that as well. So
Okay.
just want to come in that the fact that you've just said that. So I did a group today and there was about 10, 15 people on it, and they come in and said the reason that they come to Red Rose Recovery is because they feel accepted.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that they come to it. And it was just, and I said to her, I said, you know what? I'm going to change the name of that group to Accepted. I said, so in 2 years' time, potentially if you're clean in 2 years' time, you can say that group was made after me. So just wanted to come in on the back of that. So
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
It is. And it is about acceptance. No matter where you're at, we'll meet you where you're at. You know,
Right.
I need meeting where I'm at.
6 o'clock and we've still not got the first one on the
No,
agenda.
we have. We've just skipped it about a bit. Where is my boy? Where is he? Oscar.
With the funky headgear.
Where's our Oscar?
Yes, hello.
Oh, darling. Oh, I feel alone now.
Sorry, it got serious. The hat had to come off.
Oh, no.
Well, let's
Well,
lighten it up.
serious is good. Serious is good. In fact, how serious are you, Oscar?
Well, it's not serious. I felt a fool listening to Mick's story with that on. I was kind of a bit like,
It's serious.
But
It's life and death, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the condition is at the end of the day. But like you said, people see addicts as the problem. They don't see it as life and death. They see it as, well, keep doing what you're doing or just stop, grow up, sort yourself out. And it's not that simple. Not at all. Yeah, did you want to ask me something, or do you want me to just...
A little bit about you, Oscar. Because you're a young lad, aren't you? You know, you're a young, energetic boy, I was going to say. Man.
Does that... Well, the theme's chime, isn't it? Does chime resonate for you when you look back? Were all of them compounds there?
Not until very recently. So for those that don't know, I'm Oscar. I'm 21, and I'm a recovering addict. And chime is something I've not heard of until very recently. Like many things that there needs to be more awareness about dual diagnosis, 5 ways to wellbeing, and chime. I'd never heard of them until very recently. I've been accessing, mental health and particular drug services from quite a young age. And none of those 5 things was there. It's, you walk into a small business or a shop or something, you're a customer and it's their business. Do you know what I mean? I always felt like that going into CAMS or Calico or, services like that. I never felt like I was walking in on an equal level with these people. They were there for me. They were doing something for me. They didn't do it from a place of love, which is only something in the past 10, 11 months since I first got clean that I've come across at the Lancashire User Forum and with Red Rose Recovery. And, I had the pleasure of volunteering for both of them. And like Glenn was saying, it is about acceptance. And it was the only place I found acceptance. But I was sort of similar to Mick in some ways. I think off med on crack all the time. 7 stone, piss wet through. And never did a treatment centre or a rehab, gone straight into a psychiatric unit. I only allowed out so much of the day to have people with me. But that, like he was saying, it was his rehab. For me, it was the safest I'd ever felt. After years of putting these substances in my body, getting myself into untold amounts of trouble and doing massive harm to myself, it was weird to go from that and to just having an overdose and not seeing, my mum or any of that side of the family for 5 years, not seeing my dad for 9 months because I'd alienated them and myself. And there just being that wake up call that day where it was like, I can't do this no more. Like, I'm going to die. And it was weird. There was sort of duality of it. There was that half of me that wanted to carry on having a good time, grafting, getting battered, getting off my head, overdosing. and not really caring what happened to me. But then there was that other bit of me that was like, this is enough. I got checked into a psychiatric unit that day and was in there for a while. And, you know, 3 meals a day, food was brought to me. I could do pretty much whatever I wanted. People would make brews for me, were giving me cigarettes, and were just looking after me. And it was really weird. And the people in there, shout out to the Richmond Fellowship, really did care. And I think really did use that child model. That was probably my first taste of it. I didn't know what it was. I thought everyone was out to get me. I thought it was this big elaborate ruse. But yeah, shout out to the Richmond Fellowship for that, for turning my life around for me.
Oh. Am I on mute, or are you on mute, Oscar?
No, I'm not. Are you? No, you're not.
Oh, you just shouted out to the Richmond Fellowship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, massive shout out to them guys.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that works about LUF, and I know it's distinct from Red Rose Recovery, but like it's been said multiple times, everyone get onto Red Rose. Even, you know, if you think you need that help, if you're ready to make that step, do it, become a member. Get in touch with any of us. And the same with LUF, it welcomes anyone. Like, you know, we'll welcome, like saying, drug dealers into our events and stuff like that, just to give them a taste of, you know, what's out there and what happens to people when they carry on and when they don't, you know, take that chance and see that things can be different.
And there's a lot of different choices, isn't there, Oscar? There's a lot of choices about we just occupy a space, and everyone is invited into that, whether you be Smart Recovery, 12-step, still using, 25,000 years in, it doesn't really matter. You belong with us and you've got a voice.
Can we ask the viewers to share this? Because I think what you're sharing, Oscar, will be really important for people to hear. So if you're watching this, now's the time to hit the like and the share button so that we can reach a wider audience. Over to you, Oscar.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I hate referring to it as recovery sometimes, because I see what I've done to other people's lives, and I feel sometimes like to say, oh, I'm in recovery. It's kind of like, you can't be angry at me. It's not my fault. I'm getting better. Do you know what I mean? But we do need to access that wider audience. And I think a lot of younger people do need to get into recovery. I've quite recently spoken to some of my former associates, people I used to use with or buy drugs off or sell drugs to, who are the same age as me, they're 20, 21, and they're saying to me, I've just started using heroin. I've just started injecting. All I do is sit in my house and try not to smoke crack every day, every day. And on the flip side, all of my other friends and associates are at uni and have just handed in dissertations and have their own flats and in long-term relationships and are driving and stuff like that. But me and this select group, for whatever reasons, because countless reasons for it, it's not an individual choice at all. You know, what 20, 21-year-old in their right mind would think, right, so today I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have a line, and then I'm going to cry, and then I'm going to try and not go pick up, and it's going to kill me, and I'm eventually going to ring the dealer, and I'm going to go out and do it, whilst people are out there, you know, getting qualifications, getting jobs, you know, moving forward, paying their way, you know, being members of loving families and being actual friends, not hurting and just taken from society all the time. And I hate to say that my message is important, but I think it's important for people to see my age get it. Most people I know that suffer with this condition started around the age I did and didn't finish until they're twice my age, until it killed them, you know. So I think I'm fortunate to have got it now and to know that there's another way of doing things, and it's definitely through this. I never thought I'd be doing virtual LUF meetings or hosting LUF events or setting them up. I remember Elizabeth Lunch, shout out to Liz, was at the first LUF committee meeting I was at, and I had hair down to here, which I hid behind, and these god-awful battered Doc Martens on, didn't say a word to anyone, had no idea what it was, just wanted to leave. And you know, I tried it. I took that chance that I'm talking about. You know, there was that half of me, and it's still there. Sometimes I can still slip into that half that's like, oh, go on, just It'll pick up. It'll be all right. Just keep going the way you were going. But this is a life beyond my wildest dreams, to be honest. And you know, I'm 21. Like, I don't. Many people my age can say they feel like they've made it. I feel like I've made it. The skin of my teeth. Made it.
Oscar, you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. And all 21 years of you. Anyone out there that's 21 who thinks it can't be done, look at this fella.
I just want to give Oscar a massive shout out because I've been on that journey with Oscar for a while, and I remember when, as you describe it, in your Doc Martens in your hair down here, and the progress that you've made is massive. So I just want to give you a massive shout out, mate.
I second that as
Appreciate
well. I'll second that. The first day that you came along to the sports
Oh God.
project, if you will, at the park, and I've never ever seen anybody so shy, so timid. You wouldn't look anybody in the eye. You wouldn't even look up. You was literally hiding behind your hair. And even when you was playing football, you were too scared to pass it to anybody, and you could see you were like a rabbit in the headlights.
How long ago was that, Liz?
That was August, July, August time.
July, start of July.
Yeah.
So less than a year.
Yeah, it's less than a year, about 10 months ago. And the change, Oscar, is phenomenal.
So you're now employed with us, aren't you, Oscar? What's that like?
Yeah, amazing. I've just had the blessing of being given a permanent part-time contract. Originally started off.
Was you given that? Or, was you given it, or did you earn it? Because you had to apply, didn't you? You had to enter into a competitive process.
Yeah, I applied for the role and I was given a chance, and then I suppose I earned it, but part of me doesn't want to say that. I was blessed with it. But no, yeah, I like to think I've worked really hard. There's, you know, everything's been a learning curve for me, though. You know, this is the first time I've had a job that is rewarding and I enjoy doing, and where I get to help people. And, you know, everything's proper and by the book. It's not cash in hand and it's not paying daily, and I'm not going out and spending it all on drugs. So I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
What type of things do you do in your role, Oscar?
So as an engagement worker, it's sort of my main role is to get out into the community, speak to the people that are out there, living it on the streets, you know, going to these homeless shelters for the meals, going to pick up scripts, going to groups and stuff like that. I sort of try and keep an eye on everyone, make sure our volunteers are all right, keep them busy, present them with the same opportunities I had. Which, you know, sometimes actually it probably sounds weird, but when I'm at work, I'm kind of jealous of the lead volunteers we have, because I remember when I was a lead volunteer and Glenn, the absolute unit, kept throwing things my way to do. Like, right, come on, we're going to HMP Weimar, we're talking to some VPs. Scott Wakefield, he's not here, but shout out. Come on, we're going Cardinal Newman College, we're talking to students about drugs, or, you know, going to a care home and doing some gardening and stuff. And it's like, I wish I had the time to do that all now as well, you know, because it was so rewarding. And yeah, the most insane thing is that the same organisation that helped keep me straight and bring me out of my shell and teach me everything I know then employed me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just massive love to the Lancashire User Forum and to Red Rose Recovery, just for giving me a chance.
You've got to keep handing the baton on.
And it's all, I was just going to say that, it's all you spotting new people coming through now. And it's not just all, it's everything, and everything's interconnected in recovery, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's not all one thing. It's a lot of little things all coming together as one beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, like we just want to put it out there that the Lancashire User Forum is a space where we bring people together of all different walks of life, where you can make your own choice of which path you take.
Hey, can I just get agreement of, you and the guys, that we mess around with the agenda, because I know Dave Watson's internet has been kicking
On and
in
off,
on
I
and
know,
off and on and off,
yes.
and we've got a few more speakers still to get through. When we thank Oscar, can we bring on Dave Watson next?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Oscar. You're a legend. I love you.
No, thank you all. Love you.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, Glenn's trying to say something. He's on mute, I think.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yeah, I just want to read a couple of comments from the stream. Marie Hampton and Michelle are saying you're inspirational.
Yeah.
Jack Whelan says that he wants to give a massive shout out to Lancashire User Forum and our Red Rose, because they never give up on him, even when he was down. And I also want to give a massive shout out to Rianne. I know Rianne's had a really tough week this week, personally. So I want to give her a massive shout out, the fact that she's turned it round and she's moving forward. So
Yes, Rianne.
well done, Rianne.
Yes, Rianne. Yes, Rianne.
Okay.
Hi, Hazel. Hi, Rachel. Hi, girls.
Nice one. Right, we're going to hand over the floor to Dave Watson.
The floor?
Well, the dance floor.
Go, Dave.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, thanks, Dave. Take it away,
Good,
mate.
good. So my story, I joined the military when I left school. I joined the Scots Guards. Something what I've always wanted to do, and I did it. And then when I was there, the training was hard. I thought I was a fit lad when I used to play football, but the military fitness is a completely different thing. I was absolutely out of my depth. I was on the phone to my parents, ringing my mum and dad when I was in tears, saying I can't do this anymore. But in my head, I had it in my head that I had to do it. And then from there, I went to F Company. So all the guards would want to stand outside Buckingham Palace and St James's Palace in the red jackets and bearskin hats. That's what I used to do. And I absolutely loved that job. I got to meet the Queen. I got to dance with the Queen. I got to meet all the royal family. Something what a Preston lad growing up in Preston didn't expect in his life to dance with a Queen. I did. And it was one of my, something I can tell my kids when they grow up. And from there, I went to my battalion, went to Afghanistan in 2010. And while I was out there, on the 27th of May, I got into an explosion. I stepped on an IED. I lost both legs and my right arm. From there, I didn't think my life was worth living anymore, because I was a fit, able-bodied guy, and then my life's just changed dramatically. Losing both legs and my right arm, I didn't think my life was worth living. I didn't think I could live with only having one arm. And I turned to the drink, and I got in mixed up in the bad crowd, and I turned up doing the drugs as well. It wasn't good. And that was just my buzz, because that was making my life happier. But then while I was going through my rehab, learning to walk again and getting fit again, we went for a weekend doing sports. And by this point, I used to play football and boxing. I used to do a lot of boxing. And it was finding sport, two more sports that I'd take their place, what I loved. And I went through every sport, go train everything, couldn't find anything. And then I found discus and shot put. And the coach said to me that you've got a talent. Don't pack this in. You can go far with this. And I thought, is she just doing that just because I'm a triple amputee and she's feeling sorry for me and she wants to make me feel a bit better? That's what the thoughts going through my head. I didn't really carry on with the sport. But about 4 to 6 weeks later, a charity what deals with all the military and that, they took us out to Oklahoma in America to do a big, wounded, injured and sick sports facility. So it was like a mini Olympics, but just for injured soldiers. No cameras, no nothing. And I went there and I give it a go. I stepped up, did discus, sorry, and I broke the American record for my category on my first throw. And then it was that what I thought, right, I can do this. I can go far with this. So I come away, and from that day, I packed in all the drink. I packed in doing the drugs, which helped me loads. I didn't go to rehab to pack everything in. I just packed it in myself because I've got that mental strength to just stop there and then. If I want something, I'll do it. And from there, I've done 2 Invictus Games. I'm a gold, silver and bronze medalist from the Invictus Games. And I've also done the British Rowing Indoor Championships, where I got 2 golds from that as well. So now my performance now, I am ranked 1st in the UK at discus and shot put. And I'm now training to do a Paralympics or a Commonwealth Games. So I've changed my life around completely. And now I'm a motivational speaker and an inspirational speaker. So I go out to schools, colleges, universities. I go out to businesses. I do after dinner speaking. So I do that as a business now. And I wanted to do that to help everyone out there. So there's people about now what are struggling with COVID-19. They do not know what to do in their own home. And I do a lot of Facebook Lives telling people to set yourself targets in your own home. Set yourself like a circuit up in your back garden. Do a bit of fizz, because sport helps the brain so much. It is unbelievable. I didn't think it would, but look where sport has got me now.
I'm with you there, Dave, with the sport stuff. Invictus, is that like CrossFit?
Invictus Games is like a Paralympics. It's the thing Prince Harry sorted out.
Right, yeah. I'm just thinking the reason I say CrossFit is because I'm part of a CrossFit crew that do sessions with veterans. And I've seen them guys on the ropes. You know, no matter how many arms or legs you've not got, it's your spirit, isn't it, Dave? It's your spirit.
Yeah, and you like to go through what I've been through.
Yeah.
Losing 2 legs and an arm, thinking my life was no good anymore. Yeah. To being a full-time athlete and a motivational speaker and an inspirational speaker, it just shows how strong the brain is as well, and it can do exactly what you want it to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to picture what that must have been like, stepping on an IED and just losing both your legs and an arm.
With me, I was conscious through it all as well. So I got sat on the side and I got told not to look down. But I needed to look down to see what was happening. Right. And I've looked down, and all what were there were my shin bones and my kneecaps. There were nothing else there, no calf muscle, no foot, no nothing. And then while they were sorting that out, I was getting pins and needles in my arm. I've looked at my arm, and my arm was just dangling off with its tendons. And the skin had separated from the bone. So to see that, I knew exactly what had happened. And I just took it from there to see where my life would go.
So you was conscious throughout all that experience?
I was, yeah. Conscious through it all. But I weren't in any pain. That's what a lot of people are shocked about. I weren't in any pain when this were all going on because of all the adrenaline.
Well, what was you thinking? What was you feeling?
Well, me, I'm a joker. I always have been a joker. I always got called the class clown going all the way through school.
Right.
And that's what I was then. I was just joking with the lads, saying, "Well, it's all right. I'm going home now. You've got another 3 months out here. I'm going on to the pub." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just having that laugh and a joke and just getting through it that way.
So
But then
what would be your main message, you know, to people listening?
my main message, no matter what happens, never give up.
Yeah.
There is always something out there you can do. Never give up on your dreams and just keep going forward, never look back. That was my main thing. I always take 2 steps forwards instead of taking 5 steps back. And with that, it's that what changed my life.
We do, when we are out of lockdown, you'll have to come over and see us. Where are you now, Dave?
I live in Birmingham now, but I am originally from Preston.
Yes. I was just thinking, we deliver a boot camp, you know, a speaker boot camp. And it'd be good to see you. It'd be good to see you. It's great to see you tonight, from commenting on the post last week to coming on live this week and telling the people that there's nothing that you can't do. You know?
There is nothing, like with me, especially with disability, you can't spell disability without ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That is always going to be there. There's always going to be ability in disability.
Just want to say, Dave, as well, you've got a lot of comments in the stream, and the fact that you've touched a lot of people out there. And obviously, I know we've had a couple of conversations over the last couple of days on the phone, and I just think you're an inspiration, and that's what everyone's saying. So well done, mate.
I could tell you a lot more, but you only give me 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
No, but let's get you back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, from that to where I am now, like I am never looking back.
And
I always take 2 steps forward.
Anyone who listens to your story will hopefully look at the adversity they've got in their life and say, you know, if that man can overcome that type of adversity, enter into the Invictus Games and win gold medals, it's got to say something for the human spirit and for the tenacity that we've got. So more power to you, and thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. What an awesome story, Dave.
You've always got
Thank you very much, and everybody, please, if you want any questions answering, just message me. I'll give you my links to everything, my Instagram account, so you can follow my journey. I'll put it all in the comments.
Yeah. Brilliant. And, you know, if you want to touch base with any of our guests, just go along to our website. We've got that in the comment section, in the description. Google Red Rose Recovery, and we'll link you in with our guests. So
I've got you on Facebook.
Yes,
Brilliant.
excellent. I just want to say, is that Paul in the house? And
That's
is
Paul,
that
yeah.
even
Paul and
Melanie in the house?
Paul and Melanie.
Just dropped in from down in where? London? Okay, darling, you're on mute.
I'll put all my links in now. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, do that. You put the links in.
Thanks for sharing. That was amazing. Hi there. Hi, we're here.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello,
man.
darlings.
Hello. So here we are from London, South London.
Yeah.
This has been inspirational. It's been amazing just hearing the stories and like how people are sharing over you know the internet, and that it's been really great. It's been quite moving, you know, just seeing it, watching it. It really has. Gone a bit off track as to why we're actually here, but you know.
Actually, hang on a minute, Melanie. So what's happened is I've got a tweet of the lovely Kate Egan saying, check these guys out. So I've gone onto Twitter and I've had a look, and I've just come across something I've never heard of before, but I think everyone should know about. So can you tell us about Shaw?
Absolutely.
Minute Shaw Recovery app.
Yeah.
It is. So Shaw Recovery is actually out now. It's downloadable. It's created in collaboration with researchers and service users. So it's come from our service user group, which is we're running for what, 5-6 years, Paul?
No, many more than that. It's actually about 10 years now.
Wow. Okay. Well, I've
10
lost
years. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, you know, that Emma, you mentioned earlier about having that seat at policy tables. And I think that that's so important, and that's really where we came in on this. It's the Service User Research Group that we set up with Joe Neal from King's College London. And originally it was around the time that recovery was becoming a word and a term that the government were interested in. But there was a lot of service users that we spoke to and that we felt that they didn't really get what recovery meant. Recovery was such a personal thing for people, for each other. And what we felt was really important for us to be able to develop something that was recovery in a true sense from people that actually had that lived experience of substance use.
And this is where my passion is, my heart is with the service user. Was the app designed for the service user?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah,
of course, absolutely. Right from the very creation. So it was, from the actual paper format when it was originally for, like, recording the stats and like how people feeling when it's coming down to the questions. Sometimes when you're actually in treatment yourself, I mean, both myself and Paul have been through recovery. I'll just make that clear. I have been through recovery myself. Sometimes you can have words that maybe could be quite offensive, or you don't understand, or there's an acronym. So from every point from the beginning to the end, we was involved on making things more service user friendly, because it's what we wanted to be able to use ourselves. And I still use it. I'm actually using the app today myself. So it's downloadable from the App Store. So that's iPad, like if you've got an iPhone, iPad, or the Android. And on there, it's a way of tracking your own recovery. So you can, there's lots of different tools on there. Like you've got a diary. Are you looking at it now, Emma?
I am, yeah. I am, yeah. It's like, I can't show you, but it's got, I know. As you're talking, I'm nodding because I can see it.
Yes, so it's got loads of great tools built into it, which has been tweaked and amended along the way. Just again, going back and service users looking at it and saying, okay, this needs to be changed, this needs to be amended. I'll be cool if we could add this, so you could track your own recovery, where you'll have a graph looking at actually how, say if you look back on it on the last week that you've sort of been tracking either your sleep. We've got two measures in there, which is the sleep measure, and also Paul was the other one.
The Sure measure.
The Sure measure. Do you want to explain a little bit about them?
Yeah, so the Sure measure is, it stands for Substance Use Recovery Evaluator. And I know that's a bit of a kind of like, clumsy acronym maybe sometimes, but like we really like the word sure to be in there. So sure as in like, sure-footed. So you're sure step, like, on the road to recovery. And it's broken down into 5 separate domains. So it's about like, your material uses, your kind of like, your relationships, your substance use, obviously, alcohol, drugs, and what was the other part? So you can check it out now, like, you can each check it out yourself. It's gone up the top of my head. But
I love you, man.
Check it out yourself.
Just go and check it out.
But and sleep as well, and like sleep's so important for people in recovery, because like it's something that we all struggle with. I think early recovery, and especially during lockdown as well, because people are saying they're having a lot of weird dreams during lockdown.
Yeah.
And, that type of idea of using dreams is really difficult for a lot of people. Like I know I really struggled with using dreams and kind of waking up then and feeling like, oh shit, what's happened? But this is just something to think about. It started off, like Mel said, as a paper measure, but then we got some money and developed the app. And like, I know not everybody has access to a smartphone and access to apps, and especially people that might be out still kind of like, out in the streets and using chaotically, or whatever we said earlier was a good word to describe that feeling. But, the app, I think, is the way of the future, and it's a good thing to be able to just stick in your pocket. We get so many bits of papers in recovery, and you know, you can't carry them with you forever. So having the opportunity to just stick them all in an app and carry around with your smartphone, I think is a really valuable and good way of using that new technology.
Absolutely. And it also on the app, it has like resources to other information. There's also like a book you can download. You can upload your own artwork. You can look at other people's artwork. There's a diary on there, which will also auto save for you. So you can make little notes for like your day, but with your feelings, I think with that one for me personally, because I'm a bit of a scribbler and a note writer anyway. But if I'm quite stressed out or feeling quite vulnerable or something, I tend to write. I like to keep myself a little note or a journal and stuff. So I find that quite useful for that.
Yeah,
you might even just want it to put your shopping list in there, but it's useful. It's useful to have sort of all in one place, as where you can track your sleep, you can track your drug and alcohol use. And the brilliant thing about it as well is when you're tracking that drug and alcohol, and you're using that section of the app.
Yeah.
Again, say you might have it, look at it a month later, and it will give you automatic feedback. So it will track exactly if like you feeling, it will measure whether you're feeling better than what you did 3 days ago. So it will give you feedback and like positive encouragement, and it's just fabulous. You have to check it out and see it to believe it.
Yeah, you do. You can download it, and it looks. I'm just trying to get it up now to show you what.
So if you put it into Google, Shore Recovery app.
That's it there.
We can't see that.
Yeah.
Lovely picture of me and you, darling.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've put it in the
Facebook page as well. So, you know, you can check out the Facebook page, Sure Recovery, and that takes you to a direct download as well.
Yeah.
I know you guys are a massive part of, you're a big part of the Lambeth crew, aren't you?
Yeah.
The Lambeth service user crew.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That have been around a long time.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as the voice of the service user, I'd like to create some more links with you guys down there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you know,
that's really mutual as well, Emma. We hear so much about the LUF and Red Rose Recovery, and it's such. Just hearing the stories earlier were so inspiring. I think the other thing was the guys were so eloquent in the way that they spoke. I think that word and that voice needs to get to people who can make decisions and, you know, who create policy. Because as you said, we're not being heard properly. I think like we need to be heard properly, and people need to listen to us more. And I think just this idea of collaboration between all different parts of the country and all those different service user groups within Britain and Ireland and everywhere else, you know, we have a really strong voice together, I think.
Absolutely.
One of the things we've done though is Emma and I we joined the Professional Speaking Association, and we got around some of the country's best speakers, and we're fortunate in the sense that in Lancashire we've had people back us and invest in us, and what they've not seen is that we're not holding it all to ourselves, we're giving it away. There's not a bottleneck forming around us. We're empowering and growing new leaders.
Fantastic.
I'd love to come down to Lambeth and do a boot camp with you guys.
Yeah, please do.
Absolutely. I mean, just for anyone sort of like following and as to where the actual app and the service user group, or a bit of history around it. So in Lambeth, we've done a lot of service user involvement 10 plus years back. Paul and I are also trustees of Aurora Project, which is peer mentoring. So basically, this is pretty much alongside as to what Red Rose knows. I used to say Red Nose Recovery. Red Rose Recovery. I think I said that for about 12 months, and I realised it was Nose. But so, you know, we've had a small charity that's been delivering peer mentoring. So again, we do often come across some stories and have seen a lot of people's journeys along the way. And I think this, just looking at this forum here on how easily people have just opened up and shared, has been amazing, you know, and it's really sort of given me some inspiration for our service users down in London, you know, because I've not seen anything like this as well yet. And it's just been fun.
We want to say to you guys and to anyone else around the country, what we've done is not difficult. We will support you. We'll teach you how to do it. We can't do it for you. We'll give you the tools. We'd love to see you get motivated.
I'm joining you, Emma.
Yeah, baby.
Like Paul says, if we can develop a national network and we can have a voice for our community, and start to say, don't start looking at us like we're the problems. We're the product of some bad policies, some policies that have stripped cash and resources out of the system. That's why it ain't working. Why don't you tap into us as assets? We've got experience and skills and knowledge and connections, and use that. And I think that would be, there's more momentum for that. But it's how we do it. We
need to come together, definitely. We need to come together as a user voice. So the Shore app.
Yes.
If there's anything you could say to anyone tonight, my beautiful Lambeth people, and drop in the world, what would it be?
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. We were thinking about COVID-19, obviously, as well. And, you know, we've put a few questions in at the start because NHS England asked us to, just about how people are struggling at the moment and, you know, if they're noticing any differences. But really stay safe and download the app and check it out. And let's all come together when this lockdown's over and start this movement going again.
It's over. Why don't we? I've just had the thought. Why don't we
do it now?
Start to pull together a national meeting of various players, set an agenda, and say, you know, we want to aim for a network of people. And here's the thing: we're not going to get caught up in that politics of them and us. You know, I remember Dr. Dolittle. Imagine Dr. Dolittle breaking up a fight between a giraffe and a tortoise because the giraffe is telling the tortoise his view of the world looks like this, and the tortoise is saying, I beg to differ, mate. The world looks like this. They're both giving an honest account based on their experience. We just need someone in the middle. It works for you up there and it works for you down. Brilliant.
And I think as well, you know, the people with lived experience, they've got a lot to give. I mean, as I say, it's my journey in recovery is exceeding over 10 years. You know, I went like from literally being on my face and then, you know, getting involved with the Learn for Service User Council, then obviously, you know, create the creation of Aurora Project, which has gone on to help many, many people. So that's been from a volunteer myself back into employment. And, you know, that lived experience and that people can recover. You can recover if you've got the right support and you've got people around you who have that empathy. They know what it feels like. And it you know, recovery is possible. I truly believe so.
And we should all be coming from the same place. We have individual differences, but overall, we are all want to, you know, we are part of the same family. We are that giraffe and that tortoise. You know what I mean? Like we really are. We're not that different.
One great, big, giant, dysfunctional family.
Yes.
Well, exactly. Yeah. With a lot to offer.
Yes.
With a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for coming in, guys. So get the
thank you.
downloaded.
It's been lovely.
Shore app.
Yeah.
I've downloaded it. I've got it. I'll be tracking myself and letting you know how I get on with that, Melanie.
Brilliant.
We'll be watching for you guys to set up your own platform and do it, and we'll be your first guests.
Nice one.
Yeah,
check out the pages.
I'll be in touch with you guys again and take a few pointers and tips from our way, but definitely. And thank you for having us. It's been a blast. Keep up the good work. It's amazing. And for all the people that have been on there sharing your stories, absolutely amazing. Well done.
Love Manchester.
Nice one. Good man. Right, missus, where are we up to on the agenda
I just need to shout out to Time to Change Warrington. The guys from Time to Change in Warrington have a few talks going on, hosted by Directions for Men as part of the Warrington Carers Collective. Highly recommended. So if anyone from Time to Change Warrington is watching, can you just let us know, and Glenn will let us know, because they're doing some stuff they wanted a shout out on Twitter. However, I am really bad at multitasking on a digital platform. So
well, guys,
get on the links.
You can stay and join in, or you can go. It's a live lounge where we want to say people, come.
No, internet said.
And to you, but I was just thinking, maybe we take that concept and say to CGL, we're not just taking over for the night. You're never getting rid of us. Our Facebook page now, a bit like squatters. You're never getting rid of us.
We ain't leaving.
So we have got a couple more speakers who've been really patient.
Yeah.
Liz, how are we getting on with the sweetie box? Right, you're on
mute.
Right, I'm here. I'm hoping that people are sending their guesses. I'd like to ask for, if you want to guess and win this prize, I'd like you to be signed up as a member. Glenn will pop the link on the comments, so you can click on that and then send us a message. So if you send a message to the LUF page on Facebook, and then we can work out how many sweets there are, and we can tell you who's won. It's quite a deep box, as you can see. Excuse the scruffiness of the side of this box. They're not always like that. So yeah, if you can guess and you think you're right, pop it in a message. It'd be really good to get your opinion of how many sweets are on there. And it's different to last week. Last week's was a huge box. Not to say there's not as many sweets in this one or more.
150.
So, well, you'll have to pop a message to the LUF page, Emma.
I'm on it. I'm doing it now. I'll just shut down my my show app and get on it.
Okay, where are we up to with
Gordy,
the next?
Gordy.
Gordy, Gordy, Gordy.
Gordy, Gordy, Gordy.
Gordy.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the live LUF Lounge. Thanks for being so patient, Gordy.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in East Lancashire. And
Right, upon following a degree course that I did in Preston, I got involved with the Stage Fright community project in Accrington and Burnley. I'm sure Emma knows them well.
Massive shout out to Stage Fright.
But for the viewers who don't know what Stage Fright is, what is it?
It's a little community project where there's a band formed, there's a choir going on. They travel around care homes, nursing homes, performing spoken word plays. They do a lot in and around the area. And from there, I got involved with the recovery scene. And I pursued a brick fund application with Red Rose Recovery. And I'm here now to tell you all about it. So I carried on from where I left on with Stage Fright, really. There's a few familiar faces that started the new workshops with me. And the actual workshop itself, it goes over a period of 12 weeks. I would have finished the course by now, but because of the lockdown, I still have 3 sessions outstanding that I'll be carrying on with as soon as I can do. So I took on the Stage Fright band and some newcomers as well that came along, and we were working towards getting the band out performing and promoting themselves and up to a really tight standard. And ultimately we were finishing off with some recording studio time where I was going to record the band. And as well as after the course finished, I booked them at a gig at the Library Theatre in Burnley where they were performed to the general public. Unfortunately, that was cancelled, but I will honour that and I'll make that happen as soon as I can do. And for people that are non-musical, it's well worth attending the workshops anyway, because I focus on the promotion aspects, the marketing aspects, and the interaction with the general public as well, advertising their own gigs. I have some people that are focusing on the PA system and lighting system side of things, and that's fantastic to see. Is that I have some people that are genuinely really took to the sound engineer side of things, and I really hope they pursue it. I'd gladly speak for them and get them on college courses if possible. They're really that good, and they're well worth chasing up. So I hope to carry on with that as soon as I can do after the lockdown period's over. And focusing on your CHIME acronym that we're focusing on tonight, it's amazing to see people coming into these sessions as little mouses with little squeaky voices. And after a few weeks, the lion's roaring and shouting their heads off. And they've got a little bit of ego, and they've earned that right to have a little bit of ego as well. It's absolutely fantastic to see the turnaround in people. I counted a win if people come and they turn up at 11 o'clock in the morning. They've got out of bed, they've travelled however many miles to come to the workshop. And that for me is a win.
Yeah. Have you got any workshops on at the minute, Gordy?
There's nothing I can do because of the lockdown. Yeah. Like I say, I'm stuck in the middle of waiting to finish a workshop. That's just 3 recording sessions, 2 with the band, and 1 is a spoken word session as well. I'll be recording somebody's stories.
Right, okay. I've got a little lad who wants to do some sound engineering, so I've got a right little parcel for you, Gordy. It's called Caleb.
There's so many skills that our people have got, haven't they? But we've overlooked it in this pursuit of what's wrong with them. We sometimes forget to tap into what's strong and what's
from the people that are around me, I'm not actually from a recovery background or an addict background. I've come from an academic point of view and wanting to forge a career, but through talking, there's a lot of people that I know who have actually been through it, and I think, oh right, yeah, I know him that you're talking about, and it's a very close community. And
would you say you connected though, Gordy?
Definitely.
There's the desire, isn't there, to help? You've got the desire.
Definitely, especially with music, it's a massive medium for connecting people as well, isn't it? If you don't, it's easy to talk to a stranger about music more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first thing that I do at the start of any workshop. I don't have any equipment. I just sit people down. I just find out what they're into, what they want to study, what sort of things they listen to. Have they played any instruments? Can they write? Can they write poetry? And then I'll just start building the workshop around the people that are involved then that turn on.
Can you not do that over a platform like Zoom or some of the other platforms, Teams? Can you not do it over a webinar?
I could do tutorials for individuals, but can you imagine somebody playing a drum kit over Zoom?
Oh, trust me. Every week is the same, and I love every music, every guitarist that's come on here. I love, but when you
something that I am thinking about that I was going to ask you guys about is since we're talking about involving people from different areas and bringing people together, why don't we do something like a LUF's Got Talent?
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, what a brilliant idea.
Well, actually, the new year spoke mentioned about that as well. So it's like a common theme. So hey, what a great idea. Do you want to lead on it, Gordy?
Yeah.
There you go.
Have a chat with Alison.
Over
in the east, and Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel's our man on here tonight. Speaking of Daniel, I know we're stuck for time now, guys. I'm really sorry, but let's introduce Daniel and get Daniel on. Gordy, please link in with Alison and us, and thanks for sticking around, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
And sharing with us some of the work you're doing. I know the feedback I've had around the the Brick Fund. It's been a fantastic use of resources.
You're in the east, aren't you, Gordy?
Yeah, around Accrington and Burnley.
So there you go, Danny.
Seeing you at Nelson Luff.
Yeah.
Remember?
LUF's Got Talent.
Can I come in now?
Let Glenn come in about that.
Yeah, so that's why I just wanted to come in quickly. Sorry for interrupting, but so yeah, we did one yesterday, and it was absolutely amazing. Dan took part, a couple of the other people in that. We had dancers, we had comedians, we had, and we did it, and it was good fun, weren't it, Daniel? So I think that a LUF's Got Talent would be great going into. So Daniel's your man if you want to see how it run and potentially do a big one right across the county.
Yeah, it'd be dead funny. Or let's just start in Lancashire. Why wasn't I invited?
Why not aim big? Why not do one across the UK and let's involve Scotland and Wales as well?
It'd work if we could do a regional one and then take the winners of the regional ones and we'll do a national one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I thinking.
That's a good one.
We've got a plan, right? We've got a plan. Danny.
Hello, Emma. Hello, Peter.
Darling.
Hiya, mate.
How you
How
doing?
you doing, mate? We've gone over an hour.
All right.
No.
I'm waiting for my steak and chips.
Oh,
Do
bless you. So
Summer,
patient.
we had a chippy tea last night.
Yes.
And the lady who
Won't be named.
we won't shout her out, but she came along to a Lancashire User Forum very, very early on in our evolution, and she shared something, and we just stopped the whole meeting. We said we're not bothered about the agenda because one of our people is sharing something, and we've never changed the format ever since then. The people take priority over the processes and the systems, and
Always.
sometimes that creates a little bit of rub, but the people always will come first in the Lancashire User Forum, and if that means we go over a little bit, you know, we're all it just is what it is. So thanks for being patient.
Yeah, thanks for being patient. But I do think it's important as well. And if you've got any feedback in the comments, guys, to feed into how you want us to do this, you know, because it is nothing about. It's not about you without you.
Stick to time.
Yeah. So Danny, what have you been up to, love?
What have I been up to? So I've been with Glenn and Scott on the groups throughout the week. We've just started the weekend groups, and I've been running my own group on a Friday, the 5 Ways to Wellbeing. And like Glenn said, Zoom's Got Talent yesterday. And can I just shout out? So they decided, Scott and Glenn decided in the end that all 4 of us that took part won. So let me shout out the names of the people that did this lovely thing at the end.
Oh.
So we all won. So Glenn said to us, right, you're going to get a £10 voucher each. So there was Andy from Clitheroe. I don't know his last name. He set it off and he turned around and he said, you know what? I don't want the £10 gift voucher. I want to donate it. Because I had my partner's little girl doing it. We had a little double act, comedian double act. So he set it off and he said, I don't want the £10. I'll donate it. Let the little girl have it. And then Jack Whelan did exactly the same. Gemma Mollahand, she did exactly the same. The little girl was scared, weren't she, Glenn, at the start? She didn't want to do it. She was in tears.
She was.
But, you know, we rallied around, got her through it. And do you know what? She can get herself 2 Loldos and she's buzzing.
Oh.
Made my day yesterday, that did. Really did.
There's kindness in the world, Dan.
Yeah. And the fact of that was that there was about 10, 12 people on the stream, weren't there? And 4 of them took part because obviously, and they come out of the comfort zone. So how could we have one winner when all 4 of them were winners? So I stuck my neck on the line and said they can all have £10 voucher each.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you, Glenn.
One of the things that strikes me every time I see you, Daniel, is how close we come to losing you. And I wonder if there's something we could do better when it comes to integrating that pathway from services to the community, bearing in mind that we know things like housing are critical, employment is critical, education, you know, they're the issues we've got to think about. But your story's really powerful, and you shared it, didn't you? It's on the Red Rose Recovery website. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think to see you now, you're doing great, and you know, I have no doubt that you'll continue on that journey. But we wanted to just thank you really, and say for everything you do as a volunteer, you are the next round of leaders that are being birthed, for want of a better description.
In another area now.
You know.
But can I just share something with you, Pete?
Yeah.
So when I was in the second stage house from leaving Littledale, and I remember meeting you for the first time. You picked me up from Inspire Car Park, and we went over to, I can't remember where it was now, to go and check out the LUF venue. And we just had a chat in the car. And from there, we've built our relationship, but it's all started with belief. Yeah. You believing in me, and then me believing in myself.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to Emma for, you know, taking the speaker boot camps and, you know, giving us confidence to speak out, because, you know, like you keep saying, we have got a voice. You know, we're on the leadership course, which is absolutely brilliant.
That was absolute classic.
She's going to kill me now.
You were saying you'd give us a voice and you interrupted.
I know.
Classic.
Classic. I do it all the time. I've got bad form for it. She tells me on a daily basis. But the best thank you would ever be for you to do what was done for us and we did for you to someone else. That would be the best thank you ever, mate.
Yeah. And this is what we're looking to do, innit? You know, I'm only early into my let's call it the second part of my recovery, because the first part didn't go well.
Yeah.
Well, then it's the 8th of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the second play, innit?
Well, I didn't know about recovery, Pete. You know, before I went to rehab, I didn't know the word recovery. I didn't know the word. You know, you guys are teaching me on a daily basis. Glenn, Scott, all the staff at Red Rose, everyone that's involved in Lancashire. You know, we're all together in this. And this is what I want to do. I want to bring it down to where I live, where my family are.
They're training you to chair the forum now in the East, aren't they, the guys?
Yeah, yeah. So I did have that position briefly last year before I picked up again. But yeah, I want it back. Give me it back.
Good.
Hand it over.
Hand it over.
Hand it over.
Yes. Who is the chair in the East at the minute, anyway?
It's James.
James, hand it over. Hand it over.
He's hungry for it, James.
He's hungry. Oh, I love you, Danny. If you had a main message for anyone tonight, what would it be?
Connect with us. Connect with us. You know, we're here, aren't we, Glenn? We're always here.
We are, mate. We are. And if anyone wants to do that, they go on the Red Rose Recovery page and you can become a member, and then that'll get put out to the localities, central, east and north. But what I will say is that Dan's in Bedfordshire and he comes on our group, so anybody can get involved.
And we are finding that we're having one or two a day, one or two new people a day, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
They keep coming back.
Yeah. Do you think then, in your experience, Dan, and Glenn, I suppose this is for as well, that you're getting more people now getting tech savvy in the Zoom meetings than you would in person? Because at the beginning, I know it was like we had to move everyone over to Zoom. What do you think, Dan?
I think we're still having to give people the basic instructions on how to use it, and making sure people know what they're putting out there and what they're saying. And You know, because everything needs to stay confidential in our groups. And people need to know that. You know, we're sharing powerful stories. We're helping people. I think Glenn can follow on from that. But
yeah, it was hard at the beginning of lockdown due to the fact of people not being tech savvy and not knowing about Zoom and transferring over. So we did have to give basic instructions out to do that. But I believe that people are getting a lot more better at doing it. And what I will say is that whose phone's that?
Looks like it's Peter's.
So yeah, what I will say is that even though we can't reach everybody, because a lot of people out there haven't got technology, they haven't got phones, they haven't got laptops, but we are consistently getting.
Right, hold on. Right, are you happy now, number one daughter, with the live LUF Lounge stream? Say hello to thousands of people. Yeah, because you're interrupting a meeting. Say hello to thousands of people all around the UK. Say hello. Go on. Yeah.
Well, you have to now.
You have to now. Say hello to everyone.
Right.
Yeah. Thought so.
Right. Go
Sorry
on, Glenn.
about that.
What I was saying was that, people are getting a bit more tech savvy. Some people have got it anyway, some people haven't, and the ones that haven't, we offer that support to get them on there. But what I will say is that some people haven't got laptops and phones, so there is still a wide community out there that can't be reached. So we're having to do telephone support if they've got phones, that sort of thing. But what I will say is that we're reaching the wider community. So I can only talk for Central because that's where I work and cover. But we're consistently getting people from other areas dropping into groups and that. So and vice versa. We've got people from Central going into the east, the north, and people are connecting with different people. So it's just a massive platform. So I would advise, if you have got a smartphone, then download the Zoom app and go onto the website and we can get in contact with you that way. And for the people that haven't got smartphones, we can still offer that support via telephone, email, and hopefully we can start reaching further afield.
And we've got groups running 7 days a week, haven't we, Glenn? Sometimes 2 a day.
Definitely. We had one yesterday, didn't we? We had, because recovery is not 5 days a week, 9 till 5. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So we've started putting them on at weekend as well.
Yeah. Good lad. And there's another families group I think Lynn had one last night as well at 7. There's some families groups going on. I found the same with the Service User Forum the other day and opened it up to North, East and Central. That's Remember Lancashire, just in Lancashire. And we had a few people jumping in from different areas, which is really, it's good. It's good. It's a different way of working, but it's good. But there is also our guys still out there, and I do want to give a massive shout out to the staff teams that are working on the front line, the key workers. And I'm just talking about Lancashire here, but I know we're on a national page. However, big up to the Lancashire crew and in the Inspire site, sorting out all the scripts and doing the outreach, giving out the naloxone out there with the NSP van. I salute you. And the prison staff, I salute you.
Thank you. So I think you rounded that up really nicely. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's been 2 hours of our... We're going to go and have our tea now.
Or a row.
Well, I am carrying a few resentments over this eyebrow, you know. I am. We might have a brow, not a row.
Brow off.
A brow
off. Yeah. Bless him. Just to kick it over then to Liz to end it up, Liz, with your sweetie box there. Have you had plenty of numbers in, love?
I've had plenty of numbers. I'm going to leave it open for an hour because there's a few people that haven't managed to message.
The box. Don't leave the box open because the number will go down.
So if I can ask that people send an inbox message across to the LUF page or to somebody like myself or Glenn, Emma or Pete on Facebook, and in about an hour we will have gone through all the messages and I'll pop a status up on the LUF page to let you know who's won. Pete?
Well, I won't be answering any Facebook messages tonight. I can promise you that. So if you send something to my Facebook,
or me.
Yeah, Liz, check that one first, though.
Well,
to Liz.
Right, okay, send them to me, that's fine. I'll deal with that. Not a problem. People know they can message me whenever. So
I'm only joking, Liz. They can send them to me. I'm only joking.
Oh, we all feel so bad now that Liz has just done that. Oh, we don't work half as hard as Liz does on the internet.
Oh, honestly, Pete, I think you need to pull your socks up.
Yeah, pull your socks up, yeah.
No,
Pull your socks up.
Liz, I really do love the energy and the effort you put in. You're awesome. You know, and tonight some of the guys are on here because you connected with them, you reached them in, you go above and beyond. You're a force for good.
I do think we need to round it up, love, now.
Thank you, CGL, for giving us the opportunity for, taking over your Facebook page, reaching a broader audience than we ordinarily would. You guys are awesome.
I love you all.
The audience, thanks for watching and tuning in. We might catch some of yous tomorrow on Sunday, on Monday, Tuesday, but by the time the week's done, if you still want to come and have a look, go to our Red Rose Recovery Facebook page, or even better still, sign up on Red Rose Recovery website.
Or download the app.
Download the app, become a member.
Get in there, Danny. Get in there, lad. And thank you to all our beautiful guests. We love you.
Take care.
Night-night.
Stay blessed.